Hey Bob, so gonna do a little video on the 251 here and just get us moving about this. So again, a lot of this I feel like is stuff that we have looked at before, but as we're advancing here, I think you'll get a deeper understanding this go around. So again, the 251 is kind of the basic building block of jazz. It comes back to the major scale, believe it or not. Just kind of knowing that C scale, and you know, when we think of these triad chords we can build, you can number those. We have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And of course we could do those as 4-note chords as well, the 7 chords that we're used to, these guys. But the numbers stay the same. It's still a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And again, the most common jazz progression is just jumping around in the key. It goes from the 2 chord. So again, I'm in C major. 2 chord, which will always be a minor 7, just mathematically. Up to the 5 chord. And here's the G7, always be a dominant chord. And then the 1 chord, at least in a major key, it's always going to be a major 7 chord. So it's nice because you get all 3 types of chords. You know, the minor 7 chord, the dominant chord, and the major 7 chord. But that's the sound of it. Again, pretty jazzy there. And most of the time, you can either do an inversion for the G7, or you can do that voicing trick where you're just dropping the thumb. That's what I personally do. It's just the easiest. That sounds good. You're basically trading the root for the 9th there. The A still works. And then over to C major 7. So you want that to be just totally automatic. Again, just kind of loop around. Give a little spice if you want. So again, the reason these are so popular, I would imagine with these jazz composers, is that they stick to 1 key. So when you're improvising with it, it's essentially the same as if you were just playing a C chord and playing your scale against it. Anything on the white keys is going to work. But we can change chords and we get some variation in that. Again, even if I just do those same tricks, if I'm doing the scale. Right, 2, 5, 1. Or you could do, the triplet thing. Getting a little pentatonic on the way. Or you can just freestyle it. Again, the nice thing about C, you can just kind of stick to the white keys. Just loop it. Sometimes I'll throw a major 6 chord in there, but that's kind of the vibe. And again, you can do that all day. Okay, and then it is possible, to kind of get those chromatic notes in there. That's nice too. But the first thing I would do is just take a long session of just kind of running those guys and seeing what you can create with just the white keys. Now there is a little bit of again, I don't want to pigeonhole it too much, but you can kind of chase down the chord tones of each one. Like here, I like to hit the F. Excuse me. The B. The E. So I'm just doing the thirds of the chords. 3rd of G7. 3rd of C major. 5th maybe. 5th of C would be G. And it seems like a lot of gear grinding. At first it kind of is, but you get used to finding those guys on the fly. Because again, it's such a common progression that you see the patterns just over and over. And then, if you get used to it, and well, I did want to talk about the chromatic thing, but let's try that. So again, if we're saying in C, if you want to add some chromaticism to your lines, you can kind of step between the white keys, but remember, you always want to keep it on the in-between beats. So you could do like, I might be getting too fancy here, but long as you land on those white keys and trying to throw as many in there as I can. Chromatic. And again, I know I'm going a little too crazy, but just to show you, you can kind of get away with those slides, but you always want to center those white keys. You wouldn't want to have a right. Those are the quote-unquote wrong notes. But if you know how to do them, there are no wrong notes. Slides still. Cool. Those are the ones. So again, just master this. You got your C scale down, you know. That's the vibe. So, you know, I know we're used to those kind of blues scale stuff, which will still work, but this is that other flavor, just the kind of the more jazzy thing. And then I did want to show you also in the key of G. So just how to transpose this stuff over. So if you go to G, of course, we got the F sharp that's gonna crawl in there. That's the whole key all there. So the first step is figuring out what your roots are here. It'd be the second note of the scale, the A. The fifth note, which is D, and the 1, which of course is G. And then we already know what those chords are going to be. A 2 chord has to be a minor 7. So we can skip up to prove it, but A minor 7, A, C, E, G, that's the 1. The 5 chord would have this F sharp in it because we're in G. That's our 5-7, D7, you know it well. And then G major 7 also has that F sharp in there. So again, minor 7, dominant 7, major 7, and then the easier way to do that is either an inversion here in the 1 chord, or just doing the voicing where you just grab the F sharp. It'd be A, C, E, F sharp, and then G major. So again, here, you know, you can still kind of go pretty much willy-nilly, but you want to make sure that you're not playing the regular F this time. You're playing the F sharp from the scale. So you could try. Sorry, bad habit of watching the screen. All right, I'm sorry. Here, let's try that again. I'm going to move it up here to the G. That sort of thing. Just laying the scale against it. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. You can add some. Don't worry too much about it. What you're looking for is just catching that F sharp wherever that comes up. No regular Fs. We could do triplets. Maybe start on C. F sharp, maybe grab a B, nice third of the chord to make it sound finished. All right, cool. And then of course you could freestyle. Again, I'm not worried too much about it, just staying in G. Stay in one spot. Just jamming, you know, and then again, but everything I'm going to play is going to sound correct because I know the master key that those guys come from. Again, if you're trying to work that up in your practice thing, I would take, you know, one session where you're just, you know, working that key of C. When you feel comfortable with it, go and get that in, and then you can mix them. So again, it seems complex, but you could start in the key of G. Take it all the way. And then we'd go to C. So first I would start with D minor 7, white key. Maybe do 2 of those. Right? And then just going back and forth. So again, you're doing a lot of chords, but it's really just 2 keys. And that's what jazz standards, at least, tend to be. It's just groups of 2 5s, like going from one key to the next, to the next, to the next. So as an improviser, you learn to recognize those patterns. Again, it seems mystical, but it's really not that hard. You see them over and over and over. And you're like, oh, he's moving to G here. He's moving to C. He's moving to D. And some songs are just that. They might have like 2 or 3 keys that do it. back and forth. So again, just to show you, let's see if again, you don't have to play along with me, but just see if you can kind of mimic this approach. So once you've got that 2-5-1 mastered in G, we would just do the A minor 7, D7, G major 7. Let's go and make it 2 of each. And then I'm going to jump down to D minor 7, G7, C major 7, maybe loop that. Okay, and then I'm going to take that all again. So A minor 7, key of G. Sorry, twice. See what I can come up out of G major, back to C major here. Maybe a second round. Back to G. Twice. Over to C. Back to G. Again. Over to C. One last time. Throw some of those chromatics in there. And again, that's, you know, obviously just sound, that's the sound of like that standard era jazz, like that, you know, 50s, 60s, the good stuff, right? And it can sound polite, of course, when you're just running the major scale and stuff, but with, you knowing the blues and stuff like that, you can always pepper that in there as well. Again, not to give you too many options, but again, like, let's get that nice and strong for you. Again, it'll be a good tool to improvise, and then just so you see how the blues scale can work. I'll do a quick run with that too. So. All right, so you can still play around with those flavors too, but we don't want to be limited to just that. If we were only had the blues scale, you know. You know, it's not quite as effective as if we're starting with our major scale based stuff. Some chromatic, and then a little bit of blues. Cool. So I know that's kind of rambling all over the place. I don't expect you to play all that kind of stuff, but I do think you'll be able to follow kind of what I'm doing down here, and just start to kind of get these progressions in your vocabulary. And you know, again, it's easy for me to say, but keep those chords moving, but don't worry too much about what your right hand's doing rhythmically. Just stay in the scale. Even if you're just doing like, you know, you can do more than that, but you know what I'm saying. Just get your right hand moving. Don't judge yourself. Just let it happen. And get those key centers starting to be in the mix. And before you know it, I think it'll come together. Should be good. And I got a new overhead camera set up here, so this seemed to work out pretty well. Hopefully this is easy to see. And yeah, let me know how it goes, and I'll see you Monday. Thank you.